to use the funnel. Funnel is part of the set of three that allows you to move from the forest, the tree, the roots. This is about the tree. It's about getting a much better understanding at a lower level, but not drilling down to the deepest point. This explains why you need to shape your coachee's thinking, what the funnel will do for you, how to use the funnel, and how often you would use the funnel. So often people are confused by not knowing what to do next. So often they feel they don't actually have any options, but the coaching process will actually show them that there's plenty that they can do within the areas that they can influence. This is what the funnel will offer. Funnel is a technique used to gather information on a specific topic, to understand what this information means, to discard what is not relevant and shape it down to a conclusion, then to check that that conclusion is correct. So the funnel is the metaphor, and it's just part of the shaping process. This is how you'll use it. Start with an open question and silence. If you look at the mouth of the tunnel, open question, keep it as wide as possible to try and get as much information as possible. So the question, what are your work-life balance struggles? Having too much to do, as we are all suffering from initiative overload. So we tend to have so many meetings to attend, which just seems to generate more work on top of that. I'm not now getting over 100 emails a day, which doesn't leave much time left in the day. By the time I get home, I just want to collapse in front of the TV. So you can see lots of information has come out as a result of just that open question. But asking the open question plus keep quiet. Don't try and answer the question for them. Now you start to work down the body of the funnel. So it's starting to narrow now. So you're starting to probe. What are the areas that you could in some way influence? Now, it's very important to try and get your coachee focused on areas that they can do something about, because it's very easy for them to abdicate and say, it's not my fault, it's the organization's at fault. So that's a very important part of coaching. I think at times I'm getting a bit too accommodating and agreeing to every request. We should stick more to the agreed schedule. Is there any other area you could focus on? Yes, perhaps the way I do my emails is not the most effective, and my diary management is a bit hit or miss. So you can see how you're starting to sort of pick up on the areas that coachee can do something about. Now, getting to the end of the funnel, you need some closed questions to finally draw out and confirm what has been agreed. So an area that you could influence could be emails and diary management. Yes, I could get this right. It would save me quite a lot of time. Could we sum up that a key struggle that you have is work planning and organizing? Yes, I could go for a 10% reduction in the hours I spend at work by becoming more efficient in what I do. So you see how it actually shapes. So the funnel is the metaphor that stays in your mind. So just a little bit of guidance on how to use the funnel. Keep the funnel open as wide as possible. I think you can try and shape it too early and lose out on the really good discussion that could take place. Explore meaning, don't rush the process. It's always easy to blame everything on the organization, so steer your coachees towards areas within their control and influence. Get them to think proactively rather than reactively. Don't shape the end too soon. Conversation is the key to great everyday coaching. Right. I'm just jumping now to Grow, which is the other part of this tool. The funnel is all about shaping. Grow is all about coaching, and Grow is probably the most well-known acronym in coaching. Sir John Whitmore is credited via his book Coaching for Performance on being the inventor of Grow. I gather there are quite a few other people that were involved, but he's normally known as the father of the GROW acronym. So the G, start by defining the goal, examine the current reality, what is the current situation, explore the options, and then agree actions. What next? GROW. What quite often happens in real life is people get involved in the reality first, then sort of say, well, what's the goal? So it doesn't actually have to be entirely linear, but it's a very, very good acronym that can be applied in coaching and can be applied in just about everything. So these are the exact words that he has in his book. So when you're talking about the goal, just asking these questions will help you. What would you like to achieve? Is this challenging enough? What does success look like? How will you know when you have achieved it? Is your goal positive, challenging, attainable? How will you measure it? So those are a set of questions that you could use when you're actually getting people to define their goal. Examine the current reality. What, when, how is happening at the moment. Be precise. What effect does it have? Are there other factors that are relevant? Who else is involved? What is their perception of the situation? What have you done about this so far? What have the results been? So you're starting to look at exactly what the situation is. And then exploring options. What could you do to change the situation? What alternatives are there to this approach? What approach actions have you seen used or used yourself in similar circumstances? Who might be able to help you? What are the benefits and pitfalls of each option? Which option are you going to act upon? So you can see you're starting to brainstorm and look at all different ideas. Do not restrict your coachee at this stage. Let them get as much out as possible. But then sort of finally, in terms of the funnel shaping, shape them to the point where they actually decide on the option that they will go for. And now you're into the action planning. What are you going to do about it? What will you commit to doing? What are your next steps? When you're going to start, will these actions meet your goal? What might get in the way? What support do you need? When will you enlist that support? On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to taking this action? So just a set of questions, have them available on your laminated card just to help you when you're in a coaching situation. So that's grow. And the funnel. So the funnel helps you in each one of those areas to fine-tune it. Now, quite often when you're coaching somebody, literally just by saying to them, what is he trying to achieve? Just by getting to the goal can actually sometimes help people to realize that a lot of what they're doing is irrelevant. So from a coaching skills point of view, I would say to you, learn the funnel and grow as something that you embed in your thinking, embed funnel and grow into your everyday thinking, because you will be able to help yourself and others on an everyday basis. And then that's the funnel, and then let's link it to the coaching wheel. So the coaching wheel that has been prepared as a result of the other rapid learning chunk that people have done. It's always a good starting point if you are coaching somebody for the first time to have your first session based on the coaching wheel. So going back to the example of Mary that we used in the training to do with the coaching wheel, Mary's now presented her coaching wheel. She's downloaded, everything to do with her job, and she's now picked on lean office as the area she wants to work on. So you've got the reality there. So we have a culture of overwork, we have disorganized office space, teams have asked for help, high commitment to learn. So the goal, so start with the goal, GROW, start with the goal. Reduce overtime hours worked by 50% by the end of June. The reality we've already looked at. Okay, so now how are you going to do that? Well, what next? Train 2 SSQ, or simpler, smarter, quicker internal coaches that will help the team to change the way they work so that they can act more efficiently during the day and actually save the time. Okay, get that done by the end of March, and then run the simpler, smarter, quicker program kicking off on the 30th of May. And that way, that will give people the sort of whole of June to get in the new program in place. It's a program that kicks in very quickly. Okay, let's look at my team. What's your goal? The goal is to consolidate the work areas by the 1st of September. Because bear in mind where they're working, office space is not good. What next? Set up a team to propose a new layout of the offices and complete the new layout by the end of August. So you can see how this, particularly if it's a flip chart sheet, it becomes a living thing. You end up with these post-it notes stuck onto the sheet, and you are able periodically to sort of go back to it and check the progress that's been made. So bear in mind, the first thing you're going to do is set up what the goal is. When you do the goal, take the post-it note and put a border around it so it highlights it, and then just put goal as to what it is, and try and make it as smart as possible so that you've got something that people are actually going for. Quite often, by just putting the goal for each one of the segments, helps your coachee to really think their way through it. So you're using the funnel and you're using Grow as part of sort of working with the sort of coaching wheel. Right, just to summarize, the funnel is a tool you can apply every day to help yourself and others to clarify goals, make sense of your current reality, creatively look for solutions in options, and then take action via what next. So that's the tool.